Howdy, friends. Welcome to our series of Catholic comedians on the Forte Catholic podcast. These are three comedians who I love, who are practicing Catholics themselves and crack me up, but also it's just fun to talk to them. So I'm re-releasing these interviews with the comedians because why not? I think we can all use a few laughs today. These all came towards the beginning of the pandemic, and the pandemic is still going. We all still need to find joy in our lives. So today's conversation is with Jeremy McLellan, who's absolutely killing it as a comedian, especially on social media, which, you know, live shows aren't around that much anymore, but he's so funny. You've probably seen his videos on Twitter, Instagram, whatever. He's so funny. We're so thankful he came back onto the show. This is his second time being on the Forte Catholic podcast, and he was funny, and he talked to us not only about like comedy and what he's doing about his comedy during this time, but also how he's growing as a person. Great conversation. I hope you guys enjoy it. If you do, subscribe so you don't miss any of the Forte Catholic podcast and the other videos that we are posting, especially this series of Catholic comedians. We're releasing a new video every week. Next week will be David Studebaker. You don't want to miss it. Hit subscribe and enjoy today's video. Welcome back to Forte Catholic, and today I'm not just saying that to the listeners because of the break where we just heard that amazing commercial rendition with Olivia Eugene Harrison, because her commercials are always tremendous because she has no idea what she's doing in them, and it brings me so much joy. Speaking of bringing me joy, I'm not just welcoming back you, the listeners, I'm welcoming back a guest today. Someone that definitely none of you have ever heard of. He's kind of low on the radar. He's not even on social media. No notoriety or fame at all. Like the only thing he's ever done in public is come on this show a little over a year ago.
That's right.
So I invited him back just to kind of put this guy in the spotlight because
you're helping him out. You're helping his career.
Yeah, I mean,
that was the catalyst. I was nothing before I came on the show before, and then boom. Now you're famous. So you are. Now I'm on the show a second time.
Yeah, I mean, so,
congratulations.
Last
you got a set of steak knives.
Last time you came on, about a year later, all of your shows got canceled, and then now you're here, and in a year later, you'll have shows again.
Well, my shows got canceled because people stopped wanting to come, but I was able to engineer a bioweapon to make everybody else cancel their shows. So this is like somewhere there is like a comedian in China who like was like, you know what, all my shows are getting canceled. I think I might just like release the coronavirus so that now everybody has to. That's my theory.
That's your theory.
Even the playing field. That was.
Or it was like a restaurant, like some guy owns a restaurant, it's failing, and so they're like, maybe if I had a pandemic, then my failure would seem, and then I would get like government bailout money, for this. That's my.
They thought it through. I've
got a lot of conspiracy theories about the coronavirus. So.
Those sound solid.
What's great is you shared all your conspiracy theories, and I still haven't shared your name. Jeremy McLellan.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
This is Donald Trump.
We're having a good time. So, Jeremy, welcome back. You are looking good, man. Like I just shared the other day that I think I've gained about 87 pounds since the quarantine started because I've sat right here in this chair for about a month. But you seem to have like upgraded. You like people are watching on YouTube. You have a green screen behind you, so I could literally put you anywhere after this.
You can, over. And I've got a light right here. I learned about lighting, and
it's a good light.
One of the things I'm just trying to do with quarantine is like I don't have a plan, because we all had plans out the window with quarantine. So I'm just trying to like learn new skills. Like learn something that will. Like, because who knows, I'm a stand-up comedian and I get money by performing on stage in front of strangers. And I don't know how that's going to survive, or when that's going to be back to normal, whatever normal means. And so, part of quarantine is trying to figure out, what skills do I need to have and to do in order to, at some point in the future, just diversify the business model or figure out what the business model is going to be going forward. Because I don't know. Nobody knows.
Right. So that
whole one of those is learning about lighting. Yeah.
Are you doing any stand-up comedy from inside, where you are? Where are you?
I've done some I'm in my house.
But where is your house?
My house is in Charleston, South Carolina.
Oh, okay, nice.
No, she was asking the
Yeah.
specific address. We know that you live in
Okay.
South Carolina.
For
Right.
no real reason,
Yeah.
Jeremy.
Yeah. But so I've done some like like fake stand up like on like social media. I've made videos of me like performing for my kids and stuff, like just
Right.
a joke. But in terms of like, figuring out what like doing stand up in front of people streaming, it doesn't really work. Like people say like, oh, stand up comedy can survive because I watched stand up comedy on Netflix during the quarantine. It's like, yeah, you watched a live performance on Netflix.
With
right?
people that were there.
With people that were in the audience, and
Yeah.
you watched a comedian who got good by performing in front of strangers. And so how that's going to translate to this, like I could do stand up in front of an audience or in front of like a camera, but if you took out the laughs from your favorite stand-up album, it would sound awful. Like,
yeah, really different.
Like laugh tracks suck, but like actually listening to an album or listening to or watching a thing on Netflix, like you have to have the laughs there because it's like you usually it's like feel like it's a communal experience. There's a reason why Netflix like puts mics in the audience to catch people laughing. But so without that, it just looks like you're bombing. So and you also like if you do it live on as far as streaming, like you can only do the jokes once, really. You can do a tour physically, but you can't like go on stage every night and do the same hour.
Yeah,
online.
that makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Did you
so
see-
figuring out what the model is going to be going forward is going to be tough, but who knows?
Did you catch Saturday Night Live this past Saturday that they tried
I
to
did
do
not. I haven't watched
the
that in a long
show?
time, yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
nobody really has, but I was interested to see how exactly what you're talking about,
Yeah.
right? Because that's the same kind of concepts where they have
Mhm.
an audience and they go off
Right.
on the energy and things like that. So you'll have to maybe pull it up and see what you think because they tried. You got to give it to them. They
Yeah.
really tried to make it happen, but it was hard. I mean, it was hard to
Yeah.
watch on the other end. You were like, oh, like, there were a
Yeah.
couple of moments, but it's
Yeah,
difficult.
You need that communal energy, which is like one of the things that I like fantasize about was like, okay, like in 10 years, am I going to be performing for like an audience of robots who will then, and each of those robots is connected to someone at home with a VR headset. And when they laugh, the robot laughs, and it has to be seamless. It can't be like, nah, it can't be that. It has to be seamless. It has to be, there has to be some kind of
Wow.
like give and take. But again, you wouldn't be able to like react to like what the audience looks like, and it would. So
This
I
gray
don't
robot
know.
over here looks like that gray robot over there.
yeah,
Whose
exactly.
anniversary is it tonight?
Who
Let
let you
in.
out with that shine job, right?
Oh, jeez.
So who knows?
Yeah.
But I think that what we're seeing now is we're seeing like existing businesses, existing industries, institutions like the Catholic Church, like adapt to the current situation, streaming to Catholic churches, streaming to masses. But it'll be interesting to see what it looks like for institutions to come up within this or after this, right? Because like right now we're streaming to a church that, only exists because this didn't used to be the case. Or there's comedians who are able to chat with people online and stuff, but they got funny by performing in front of audiences. And the audience is like a really, really fast trial and error thing. And so you get better really fast in front of audiences. People who, if this thing lasts a long time, or if, live entertainment kind of dies out and everything goes online, there's gonna be people who try to start doing comedy in that. I don't know if they're gonna suck or not because they aren't able to get that immediate feedback. I don't know.
Well, here's the thing. For 4 years, Jeremy, see, I was prepared for this. This has been the great equalizer. For 4 years, I've been sitting in a room by myself saying what I think are funny things and just imagining a real life audience laughing along.
Exactly.
So now you're stuck in the position where I am. So for once, I can teach you something and be
That's
like,
right.
hey, say crazy
Which is
things
why
in
he's
a
here.
room
Yeah, just
all alone.
say crazy stuff and see, but then like how do you sell that? How do you get people to you can have sponsors. If hopefully this doesn't just all go online. But selling Zoom meetings to people, like there's some like rich person who wants to chat with you chat with a really funny person for a while. Maybe they could pay you to do that. I don't know.
Wait, are you suggesting that I should have paid you for this?
No, you're not. Oh man.
No, he's saying he should pay you because remember you're teaching him all the things, Taylor.
Right.
That's why Jeremy
That's
begged
right.
to
That's
come
right.
back on
Yeah,
this
yeah.
show. He begged.
Yeah, for
so.
sure.
But it is, like you were saying, it is the great equalizer, both for, I mean, just for everybody. But it is kind of funny because for like decades, we've all known that the Catholic Church has been so far behind in technology. And then we're faced with this trial, and relatively quickly, we got
It's been
through,
fast.
like, kinks, and now it's like masses are being live streamed and the sacraments are being
Yeah.
live, like we had Holy Week
Compare
and everything.
the Pope, like Pope Francis, right? Compare his like Urbi et Orbi mass. I don't know how to say anything Catholic. I'm new.
right.
But like,
I don't either.
you know,
And I've been
We're not good
compare-
Catholics, so we have no idea.
like compare the like what he's been able to do and how he's been able to like to function. Compare that to like Joe Biden, right? Like, and Joe Biden's like just awful like streaming attempts. Like, which is really the institution that is old and needs to die. Like, it might not be the Catholic Church.
Right.
Like, the Catholic Church has, like, for the most part, been able to adapt pretty quickly to the current reality. Whereas people who, I don't know, it's been impressive. It's been impressive.
Youth ministers went from the bottom of the totem pole at the church to now
Yeah.
it's like pastor and then youth minister.
Oh, now
So,
who knows how to use Skype?
That's
Yeah.
exactly right.
How do I turn on
Who can
my
do a graphic?
webcam?
Yeah, all these jokes about goatees and frosted tips for years. Finally, I get to set the rules.
The
That's
only
awesome.
essential people on staffs now are the pastor and the youth minister, so that the youth
So
minister
true.
is the
Yeah.
pastor.
These young kids that know all the technology.
That's right.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, part of this is like there's certain people and certain skills that you have that you like develop. That's just the ability to adapt, the ability to immediately figure out and change your business model really quickly, right? And there's gonna be some institutions that are able to do that really quickly, and then some that are like stuck on 5-year plans that are like, well, I don't know how this coronavirus thing, factors into our 3-year plan to grow the parish. And it's like, and those are going to be the people that just get crushed by stuff like this, because you can't plan for stuff like this. There's no way, like, no one planned for the pandemic. I mean, obviously no government did.
Well, except for
But,
that
like-
guy that runs that Chinese restaurant over in China.
That guy,
You
the
mentioned.
guy that you were talking about. Yeah, that guy. He
Oh
knew.
yeah, the Pandemic Express, who like immediately made up that thing.
It was in a fortune
Like,
cookie. You didn't get it
No,
though. Yeah,
Panda,
it was some other.
right, yeah. But then there's gonna be like just the ability to adapt quickly. Is you don't even need to plan. You don't even need to be able to tell what's going to happen. You just have to. I've been reading Nassim Taleb's Anti-Fragile, and part of it is just like there's things like this that you can't predict for. And so how do you develop the skills and have the ability to adapt quickly to things without ever knowing what the future is going to bring? And so how do you make yourself able to do that? And I think people with small businesses, people who have been doing this on their own, people with podcasts, people with like comedians where like our money is not stable at all. Like we don't receive a salary. It just goes up, and I have months that are where it's like hardly anything, and I have 1 month that pays for the whole year, and it's like and you don't know. But that, and I used to think that was a liability, that was a problem that needed to be fixed. That I would be better off if I had some salary job where everything was more stable. But I think that stability is an illusion, and it just lulls us into complacency. And so those of us who've had to just kind of fly by the seat of our pants and are used to the anxiety, we're doing okay.
Yeah, all the salaried people lost their jobs.
Right. Yeah. And they thought they were safe, right? They thought that they were, fine. And those of us who had never literally ever thought that we were fine, this thing about stand-up comedy is that you learn the ability to adapt quickly to audiences, to like the business and stuff. But there's always like, you could just destroy your career really quickly. Like you could just immediately not necessarily say the wrong thing, but like alienate somebody or do something horrible that then just ruins your career. so that's always kind of hanging over you. And so what do you do?
Yeah. And you know how to make ramen. I think all good comedians and people who aren't on a salary, you can make a good box of Kraft. You know what I mean?
I know how to make a good box of Kraft. I don't know how to feed my kids a good box of Kraft and have them be like, okay, thank you, this is fine. You
Wait,
know?
is that how your kids talk?
So that having like a wife,
we used to love Kraft as kids.
That is fine. Yeah, and like my kids are
not every
adapting because they don't even know what is going on.
Sure.
But I think, and you know, they love masks and they think it's funny and stuff. So
wait, how old are they?
They are one is 4 months old and one is almost 2.
So the 4-month-old is really into this, like
really into this.
He's talking
solid.
About
the pandemic.
Take snaps.
He's looking at the he's looking at the projections. And but the one who's almost 2 is I mean, this is great because we're home. I'm home.
Oh, sure.
And we live across the street from my in-laws. So my wife's parents live across the street, and which was my idea, by the way. And it's paid off really, really well. People think I was crazy, and I'm like, no, and then,
now I'm a genius.
Yeah, it's crazy until a pandemic hits. And then you've got like,
now you're jealous.
We basically treat our houses as one house, and just pretend we all live together. And so like right now I'm doing this. My wife and kids are over there. And so, it's, it works. I don't know what I would do if they were always here. My wife and kids were always here. And I'm like trying to find space to, This is another thing is that with comedy or like with my creative process, people who are creative, like I would go away, you know, on the road for several days, and then I would come home and crash, and I would, have hours on a plane to daydream, for example. And then I would be at home, and when I was home, I'd be excited to see my kids, and there would be like this intense, like, you know, few days of like intense bonding, and then like the cycle would repeat again. And that was my creative process. Now all of that has to be shrunk down to one day. One day over and over and over and over and over, right? So I can't just go away for a few days and then pop back up, right? And so it has to, and so that is something that's been a big struggle for me, is like, how do I figure out that like creative rhythm, which I can't plan. I can't be like, well, from between 3 and 5, I'm going to daydream, you know, or like, you can't do that. So that's been a struggle, right? Trying figuring out, and hopefully this thing's not permanent. So, you know, we'll go back to me being allowed to have that kind of rhythm again of creativity. But I can't just plan like, okay, I'm going to be funny, you know, during this time. So it's been weird. I don't really have right parentheses. You know what I mean? Like in my, when I talk, like I'll go off on a tangent and I never actually come back to the original point. So y'all have to keep track of what
it's all good.
Y'all have to keep track of what I was talking about.
Yeah, I'm going to wrap us all up. We're to the end of our time, and you've been talking.
Oh, wow. Yeah, nice.
You've been talking a big game about how you've been doing very well during this quarantine and at home, and you're adapting and you're changing, and you're reading this book that's all about you need to learn different skills. The only new skill that you have shared with us is that you learn how to put a light on your face.
I do. There's a light on my face. Yeah.
Are there any
I know how sound works now.
It's a game changer.
Yeah.
No, that's it. That's all he has.
No,
that's it.
I know how sound works. I know what, like, I've learned what like cardioid stereo means.
I just learned that.
Like which mics are good to use, you know, and like, but that's about it, right?
Well,
I'm also learning Urdu. I'm learning Urdu better.
Are you really? You know, that's awesome.
I'm doing like the Pimsleur Urdu lesson thing each day, and I'm sharing that with my audience so they can watch me fail at that. So it's fun.
Good.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Well, again, you're the great equalizer. Your audience is watching you fail. Mine tunes in every week to watch me do that exact thing. So speaking of your audience, where can people find you? Your next upcoming show is probably in 2023, but what can they do right now?
2023 is going to be at the ruins of, it's going to be at the old abandoned grocery store nearby. No, if they want to, you can search Jeremy McLellan on social media. All of my handles are just my name. So
awesome.
There you
go. Well, thanks for your time, Jeremy. It's great to
Thank
have
you.
back. And I finally realized why I like how you look today. It's because you look like Ash Ketchum after he grew up. So thanks for coming and hanging out with us today, Jeremy.
I like that.
Everybody else, we will be right back for our final segment of the day. Do not go anywhere, or Jeremy will come and haunt your dreams.
That's right.
I hope you guys enjoyed that. If you did, there's more of Jeremy McLellan. You can click up here. I can't remember if it's here or here, but you know, because it just popped up. Check out Jeremy's YouTube channel. And also, if you want to hit that subscribe button, make sure that you do not miss any of our videos here at Forte Catholic, especially the series of Catholic comedians. I hope you guys have a good week, and we'll see you here soon.